Okay, so here's a Dokkan take thread made by Annie. Annie's a friend of mine, right? And I decided, hey, I want to do a video on this. Hero stuff isn't just gonna be out still for a couple of days. We're still waiting for hero stuff. So might also just do this video here real quick. I know that I think Truth recently, of course, has been doing some of these hot take kind of videos, looking over them, and we'll see how this is gonna look. I'm interested to see. So let's hop right in here. And yeah, let's see what he's talking about. So, the Bochita, what a go. Actually, I used to see that, but anyways, let's take a look here. Number one, they were one of the most underrated units in history and were in contention for top 10 overall until Red Zone released. This unit, I don't know if I would agree necessarily. I'd have to think about it. I mean, they were very good, especially offensively. They had a lot of firepower with them. They had a good rotation with the Blue Cow and Goku. Those two together could really nuke events if you set them up properly, especially because this active skill. And then, this condition is not that bad to get if you're like in super battle mode or something. Enter the turn under 50% HP, no turn restriction, and you're good to go. They have a lot of offensive links. I just think that even then, this unit never really got the true like best buddy that they wanted. Because what I would say is there's no like rainbow orb changer on the actual tournament of power team, which they want to be with a tournament of power like Super Saiyan Blue unit or something like that, right? So I mean, if we take a look here at these characters, none of them are actually a rainbow orb changer, if I'm not mistaken. These guys make type key spheres. You make a stair key spheres on your active skill. You make physical key spheres, right? No one here creates rainbow key spheres. And what would have been really good is if this guy was a rainbow key sphere changer. I don't think it would have been that hard to add that to him. That would have been pretty cool, right? Just some extra utility to this guy specifically. But yeah, I mean, even now, we don't have any rainbow key sphere changers. I would say it's unfortunate for him. I think that he could have been much, much better with the rainbow orb changer like that. That's really all I feel like they needed. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that they were underrated for a while though. I would agree with that. I think that they're better than people gave credit for. But they're not like, people look at their max power and like a very well set up rotation for them. But it's not really always going to be the case. It's something you kind of have to go out of your way to do. And it's on a specific team. But I would say until Red Zone release, they probably were not top 10 overall. I would disagree with that probably. Global syncing up with JP's best option for both versions is take and removes every bad thing about Global. I would agree. Just sync the versions up because there's just a bunch of stuff about Global that's just very weird and it just causes more issues than you would think. I mean, look at all these units that are just late. Like, where's Golden Frieza? Vegeta and Trunks, LR Fusions and Masu. All these units are pushed back because, for example, we had Superhero recently on both versions, so that, kind of had them push Pan up instead of having the Resurrection at Blues come out during that actual time frame with Golden Frieza, which is what we expected. But I'm pretty sure because of the Gammas, coming out and kind of being quote unquote like a global same time celebration, that caused like that celebration to kind of be messed up. And with Heroes right there, I guess they didn't push Golden Frieza. Maybe we'll get like Heroes LR, Super Saiyan 4 Vegito or something, right? Limit Breaker. We don't know everything just yet 100%, but yeah, I think that syncing up will just remove issues like that, especially near like this time of the year. Is usually when some of these issues do pop up, I would say, especially so. By far the worst Dokkan Fest LR right now, worse than GoBros and Incel. I would disagree with that. I think that these two are actually worse. They might have teams that are more relevant right now. But now, even then, this guy is on, is he on Battle Fate? He is not on Battle Fate, but he's still on the Bond of Parent and Child category team. And I think there's places you could use him. Like, I think especially against like these tech red zone bosses. I'm trying to think of one at the top of my head. Bojack is a very strong tech red zone boss. We don't have really too many, huh? I guess because I'm thinking like Bojack. There is I feel like he's useful. This guy's still useful in Broly, in the Broly fight. I think he definitely is still useful for sure. And yeah, I guess that's it, because the only tech phase or fight for the Wicked Bloodline, I guess it's full power Frieza. This guy probably is good against full power Frieza, and he still has the revive mechanic in his back pocket. I would say he's, well, like what? Well, at this point, he's probably like the fourth easiest revive unit to get off the revive or something like that. But his revive is not really that difficult to get, like especially in like a fight like full power Frieza, Red Zone, where you have a lot of phases, you can build this guy up. I think he could be. It's just really this. If he gets hit instantly, he just takes too much damage to build up, and it's like, okay, he's supposed to be a tank, but then he takes the damage that you would just avoid if you just run a unit that slightly is more consistent, right? Even though you could tank probably really good at his prime. Kind of similar to how the physical Super Saiyan EZA Bardock is, where it's like, well, that first hit, you just take all the damage that you would not expect a tank to have in the first place, that you probably just would rather run a better option, right? But yeah, this guy is, I wouldn't say he's the worst Dokkan SLR right now. I would disagree. I really started discussing overrated zero teams outside of Raditz and mid tanking for 5 turns. I wouldn't say mid tanking. The guard and then their defense was actually pretty solid because of how guard works. Piccolo does suck. I don't like this unit that much. You can have fun with them. I think they're a fun unit, but in terms of like practicality, it's like you have to run a rotation of them and then this Goku and Piccolo basically, and then they're both like slot 2 units, and then Piccolo, it's like his defense is just way too low. He does so much damage, but the thing about units is that I think it's fine if you like prefer an offensive unit, but they still need to have defense to be able to at least take some of these hits, right? This guy does like a 9 mil, 10 mil attack stat. Awesome. And then he has like 300, 200k defense, and he takes like 200k normals in these final phases. So it's like, well, I couldn't tell you. Like, he could stack his defense, but he's too good with his key. So the fact is, you're just gonna always get the 18 key. And that's really annoying, because like you want the 3 key for his defense, but then at that point that's like 6 key, and then you have the 3 key there, because you have to get 3 key, then you have 3 key starter turn and 3 key here, so that's basically 9 key collect. You guys get the point, I think. I'm not even gonna go into the design. I don't like that unit's design. I would say they're probably overrated, because even now they don't have like a good team to like really run them on. I guess I should have kept them up, but I mean, join forces. Unfortunately, that team's still not there yet, even though we got a new leader. I don't like running that leader, unfortunately. None of these teams, like, Raditz. It's not really a good place to run this unit, and they don't really have the best partner ever as of now. So maybe they could like explode in the future, but I don't know. They kind of fell flat. Redundant, but defense does and always will trump offense. But unlike Gamma 2 can actually tank supers. Well, I would say in terms of Gamma 1 versus Gamma 2, technically Gamma 2 does have the nullification, but that's, I would agree. Gamma 1 I prefer better because he's more defensive. I think that offense and defense are more or less equally important. It depends on the situation sometimes, obviously, and like, some situations you are able to really blitz these bosses if they don't have the HP, like even the AoE Broly phase, right? At this point we have units that are doing so much damage, you just kind of blitz through that phase and you can get like 1 turn it, or even before he super attacks you or something like that with like active skills or something, right? Offense could be a very powerful tool. I mean, the reason why people were able to, no item that Broly phase in the past, because the offense that, we had from like the year 7's active skills, and then the Super Saiyan 4 Goku AGL, the his easy active skill, right? There's a ton that goes into it. I think that with the amount of HP these bosses have at this point now, you definitely want to make sure you have a good amount of offense back in it as well. With defense, right? I would say if I prefer one or the other, I would say defense, because defense just feels like, even if defense is just much more consistent usually, because no matter what, if you just don't take damage, you're just guaranteed to win, even if it takes a longer time. That's why I was, even now, I'm like a big fan of, like, back when the hybrids meta was really, really strong back in 2021. And if we ever get a team like that, I'd be like probably calling that the best team in the game. I mean, that's why I think Movie Heroes, led by Gamma 1, is probably the best team in the game, in my opinion, with like Kid Goku on it, STR Piccolo, Taigata Goku, Carnival Goku, right? All these units, Hachan. But I would say it's not trumping offense. I think that it's a little more even than that. One of the most underrated EZAs. He's good. People running without defense links. I think that he's actually pretty good right now. He's on the Gamma 1 team, if I'm not mistaken, right? Isn't he under Artificial Life Forms? Am I misremembering? Let me check here. AGL 17. He's on Artificial Life Forms, is he? Yeah, maybe. Am I blind? Yeah, there he is. I'm pretty sure he is. Yeah, he is under Artificial Life Forms again. You could run him on Artificial Life Forms. You could run him and then Gamma 1 as a rotation. And since Gamma 1 also needs movie heroes, you could have Kid Goku floating. And this guy can get 78% damage reduction. I didn't even think about that. Maybe I should try that against Cell Max. Ooh, video idea. Just right now. Thank you, Annie. Yeah, I think that could be a good rotation. Because Android Assault, yeah, they'll share Android Assault, Shocking Speed, and First Battle. Right? They'll share 3 links right there. And then with this full damage reduction, you won't be providing this crit chance support, but that doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, I think he could be good there. And the Kid Goku will give him, again, the 8% extra damage reduction. Nice. Okay. I see that. I see it. This guy's going to age really well still. I think he has a lot of potential to age good in the future. He's mid, cry about it. I wish he was good, but unless you're in Shadow Dragon Frieza, he's a complete liability, especially with his links. I would say I get the point there, because he just doesn't also have like a good partner right now. Fusions right now are just in the mud. I think that's one big issue for this tech Vegeta Blue. Fusions, just like, we have, like, even with LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, he doesn't have the actual Fuse Spider link. Like, if you take a look at Fuse Spider, right? Like, this guy's an ice floater, but the Scouter, you could run him against Cooler Core. This guy has the same name. We're waiting on the EZAs for this guy. This guy is, like, solid, right? But I don't think I would run him on Fuse Fighters. This guy, I wouldn't run him on Fuse Fighters either. Waiting for his EZA. This guy flopped as an EZA. Again, these villain units, I wouldn't really run on Fuse Fighters. I think you want to go with the super class. And it's like, you could use him against Cell Max, I guess. But it's like, if we're gonna think like Whis is good, but if we're gonna talk about, like, you know, tech units that you want to run with this guy, Kefla can be interesting. Maybe somewhere, I guess you could still find use for this guy for sure. Against the issue is that there's also no, like, they're at Tech Broly. I mean, we have AJO Broly as a boss. We have Metal Cooler. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you don't have like a fusion unit that's like super mega pog with the Fuse Fighters, or even Over in a Flash is not really a great link right now. This guy is going to get an easy ace soon. They can share a couple of links, but no one here in Over in a Flash, you know, screams out to me as like mega pog. I mean, you're really good, but you need to transform. You're going to get an easy ace soon, but I'm not sure if you're going to work with him, right? I think you guys get the point. And it's like, he's very RNG dependent as well. I just think that they did flop, unfortunately, with the Rose and Vegeta Blue. I just don't use them. They don't have like a good setup, and they're just kind of a little wonky with their design. Unfortunately, I wish they were a little better. A good stacking unit, extremely underappreciated. Hidden Gem, I don't really like the Kefla either. This physical Kefla, I closed Fuse Spider. I should not have done that. I guess I could just bring it up real quick. This physical Kefla, I just feel, the issue with her is that, if I take a look here, you can set up her orbs, I believe, because she changes a certain type of key spheres, which is nice, but she doesn't have any multiplicative defense. She's a nice defensive stacker, but then, again, it's like kind of like Tech Vegeta Blue, very RNG based, and probably even more RNG based because you're at the mercy of orbs sometimes, and this should have been a high chance, I think, you know. Like, you could use her in like certain stages, especially like physical bosses. Like, I think she could be great for the Omega Shinran stage. If you stack up her defense well enough, she can heal a lot, like Annie said. I just don't know about her. The other, like, Kel and Khalifas right now also aren't strong. Tournament of Power is not really in a good situation right now. And again, like I was saying, fusions right now in general are not in a good situation. So, like, what team would you actually run her on that's actually really usable? Like, you could run her in Power Beyond Super Saiyan, and that's it, right? I mean, Fuse Fighters, I guess, too, right? That's another good team. But like all these other teams are dead right now. That's the issue. Um, she needs like an actual, like, you know, when Universe Survival Saga becomes like a good team again, I could see her being ran on that team. That's what I'd say. Just also a lot of these units still, funny enough, don't have a place yet, especially these Tournament of Power or Fusion units. Definitely need help. Extremely overrated. I think that she is. I think people have been hating on her a little too much recently. She's still good. I think though we definitely need like that new LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku top 3 unit in the game. We need something like that for her to really show off. My criticism for her, she should have just kept the damage reduction after she attacks in slot 1. Just this I don't see the point. Like, sure, oh, she's OP, she does so much damage, and then she's invincible. She won't even be that invincible, even with the full 50% reduction. And I'd rather my units be fit to survive. Like, this is a Dokkan festival that came out in August, right? Like, at the end of July, basically August, right? So she's not even like 4 months old. Well, she's like 5 months older, is she? Maybe I'm stupid. Can I math? Wait. August, October, November. Okay, wait. No, September. I'm sorry. I'm gonna. Anyways, she's not old, and I feel like she could still be a little better. They're the same unit. Gods have better lead right now, but Super Saiyan 4s. I would agree. No, actually, never mind. I disagree. I misread that. I think the gods have always had better performance. That's just my personal thing. Super Saiyan 4s, the issue with them is that they never really had like a slot 1 partner. And I think the gods always had like a really strong slot 1 partner with Tech God Goku. And, you know, some of these movie heroes units were actually pretty solid at slot 1. And then obviously over the entire time frame we got many more options, which is why I feel like I also liked them better when they came out. More options, more consistent leader skill. I meant Link's skills, not leader skills. Prepared for battle alone, I think, is what really makes me like them better. Very much, just kind of funny. I like the dodge against all attacks over the counter. I mean, sure, you do more damage with the counter. Woo! I'd rather dodge every single attack. Just because eventually these normals are going to hit you hard sometimes. Like, let's look at Cell Max, for example, right? If you're not able to stack these guys up well enough, Cell Max, unfortunately, just end up doing more damage. And against God units, I feel like godly power units are just more common. Guaranteed double super, I like way better. More consistent defense, like I was saying. They have a higher defensive stat as well, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, they have a higher defensive stat, right? Almost looked at the wrong one. Yeah, by like 1,000, right? I mean, with equips, this guy could probably get similar defense, but I don't know. I like this unit better. I just have always liked this unit better. And I think that from forever on, they're likely just going to be better just because of how often I feel God units will come out compared to Super Saiyan 4 units, because like God forms and stuff are just the new thing, and we're always gonna get new media for it. You know, when Super comes back, we're just gonna get a bunch of more God forms and God units and stuff like that. Yeah, that's my personal opinion. Yeah, I probably talked about that a little too much, but yep. You hate this unit, he's lacking. I would disagree. I think that he's simple but good. I would agree that, you know, especially if you look at now with how some of these like units are looking like, he is kind of plain, I think I would have put it, like basic in a sense, right? It's like he's doing additionals and then just like he's basically just offense and defense, right? And like he's not doing anything special like dodging, supporting, creating key spheres, you know, giving key to the rotation. He's just plain and simple attack and defense stats. And then he has the additionals, which at this point aren't really special anymore. He has the crit, which is cool, but also that's not really special anymore, right? He's just not doing anything that, like, you know, makes your eyes bulge on, like, yeah, this unit, I'm running on specifically because of this. He's just more so of a nice, solid option that you can run on the teams. I think he has aged well, I would say, more or less. Like, he's not, like, you know, super good. I think an issue right now is there's no STR, like, you know, Red Zone Mega Boss, or, like, you know, really strong STR, like, just boss in general, for these AGL units to really, like, shoot out. Because, like, if you look at a lot of these AGL units, like, you know, Eijo UI Goku, well, I guess he does. It's not really a unit that I can count like that. These guys, right, I think are an option. This LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku's unit like that. Future Gohan, right? LR Future Gohan. Jacko even. Kid Gohan. Like a lot of these units, AGL units that have been coming out, it's like, they're good, but they end up taking too much damage from a lot of these bosses, and that's because there's no like boss you would use and choose to use them for their type advantage, which is an issue. So hopefully the Heroes Red Zone gives us a really, really strong STR boss so that a lot of these AGO units get more purpose. I think that'll be really cool. Like this guy would be like very good against an STR boss because, once he's transformed, he has the crits. And then on top of that, he'll do more damage even with the crits. He could quad super and then just crit all of them. That can be really devastating and have pretty solid defense. He was arguably never better than Super Vegito. He got overrated for no reason. I think at release, I liked this guy better than Super Vegito. But obviously as time went on, we got more pure Saiyans, villains get less buffs. Like, we haven't really had a major Majin Buu release after this guy, except for STR Kid Buu. It shows you, just unfortunately, this guy just didn't get, the mega buffs that, like, Vegeta would have gone, right? So, that's that. APT sucks. I wouldn't say it sucks. It could be interesting to look at, but I would say people base their opinions too much on APT, I feel, sometimes. You were a Zuma fan, using more and more into different content. I think especially because it's just Super Saiyan 2 Goku really holds him back. Super Saiyan 3, once he's transformed, can be a monster, but it is always RNG dependent. Different people will have different experiences with him. I personally am like that high in this guy. I think he's fine. But yeah. They're insane at release. I think I would agree. They were underrated at release. I think at release, I still like them over in Broly. Which people probably would be like, people even back then were like, what, are you stupid crazy? I just think that their setup I liked a lot better. Broly as like a movie boss as leader, I always hated. And then it's like, there's no like actual like pure Saiyans lead that you would be able to use for Broly to be able to be around with a lot of these other units. I don't know. I just felt like Broly was kind of a weird release. Like, he was good. He was a very strong unit. But I just always, I wasn't really that high in Broly like other people. Again, because like, at the time, you look at a lot of his teams, and it's like you basically ran his team for him to be ran, but it's like, he held back some of these movie bosses units as a leader. Pure Saiyans, when STR Super Vegeta came out, he finally had an actual team. I feel like that was really good for him. But yeah, I mean, obviously he was very powerful, especially for Super Battle Road. I just never really used that guy this much. I think he was more RNG dependent, even than the Goten and Trunks. The Goten and Trunks had a really good setup. The issue with them, and I think that, unfortunately, a very small thing that was their downfall, is that they had 130% defense. If this was 170% and then the HP 130%, this guy, I think this unit would have aged so much better. And they didn't necessarily need to Goten or Trunks on the team. Like, you got the dodge and stuff, which is very, very helpful. And then this extra buff. By the time they released, they didn't really need the extra buff too. They're very good for the God event, I feel, because they had the guaranteed dodge like instantly, right? Turn 3s, guaranteed dodge. It's very strong. I felt it was very strong for the God event, right? So that's that. Easily number 2 and fighting for 1 at release. Who was that year? Was it? Because we had STR Vegeta and Buon. I think STR Vegeta was better. We had the year 6s, right? I would say UI Goku was better as well, so I would disagree. Overrated, released no reason. I think people saw big numbers and they're like, oh my god, it's so great. I mean, his defense was able to stack up because he came out when the GT Legendary Goku event came out, and that was basically like the new big thing. So a lot of people were able to see his defense stack up very nicely. But then we had that power jump, and this guy just couldn't really keep up. It just power creep. I feel that really caught this guy. He was good, not super Browder, but he was like kind of like, he was a unit that was like on the edge defensively. If he had defense right here on super attack, he'd still probably be good right now, I would say. Yeah, these guys were better than Blue Kaioken, I feel. That's funny. Dropped alongside Blue Kaioken and shot him that people forgot about them. I wouldn't say people forgot about them. I feel like people brought them up a lot. It's just that they've aged out. Deserves new unit more than the most. Super Kaioken Goku would be cool. Deserves a new card. Yeah, I would agree. God Goku needs a new card. What's this? We're gonna have to take there's more here. 3 and 4 release. I don't know. Maybe. I probably would disagree. I feel maybe because I had to think about like who came out the year before. I would say they're definitely the best TURs. There is like who was out at this time? Let me take a look here. I'm trying to think who's out this time. I would say would this guy have been better? Probably not. There's STR Vegito definitely was better at the time they came out. I could see where you're coming from. Maybe I don't know. My mind is like the power shifts this year just like clouded my mind of last year and previously with some of these releases. There's so much going on. Heroes Banners are the easiest skipped ever. This year has the highest chance of them being good. I would say a lot of them because like I feel the Heroes unit, especially coming out at the time they usually do come out, they weren't necessarily power. Well, they're kind of power crept because they came out in like November, like end of November area, and like these units usually like are right before another big. I wouldn't say like a mega jump, but a big jump in power creep and boss power creep as well. So that could be like a reason why hero units aren't that fantastic. Like I think there's a different viewpoint between global and JP because JP has the anniversary like literally 2 months after where there's this huge power creep. Then on global, they're like 7 months away from the power creep that JP gets. So it's a difference because I feel like on global these units are usable for or they're still always usable, but they're more relevant for a longer time, which is why I feel like on global people view the hero units more favorably. They're just fun. I would say if anything, summon on them if you're gonna have fun with them. Fraud Power Frieza, he was good when he came out. I think he's very very powerful. Right now I would say he's better than AGL. I would agree. No, well, no, probably not. With how they do EZAs, I mean, it's like you could say this about every like major unit like this. If they really want to do it, sure, but they're not going to. I don't see it. This is the one we're getting soon has his base kits to be better than the year 7s. Probably not. Because he's like kind of like a worse version of the LR gods. Like, you know, there's the dodging. He doesn't stack. I mean, he has a greatly raised for the 3 turns. I mean, he has the crate built in like they do. No, I probably wouldn't say so, especially the LR gods, because the big reason about the LR gods is their leader skill. I think that's one reason why they're like up there still. Arguably the best unit in the game as far by far the highest peak, but you constantly flip flop on him. Yeah, I would say so. If you think he's not top 10, you're wrong. Top 10 TUR, specifically. I don't think he's top 10 unit, but top 10 TUR, I would agree. Most valuable unit, I would agree. He's just good. You just put him on the team. It's like, he's like, you know, kind of how I said Blue Evolution Vegeta is basic, but still good. Kind of like this guy, except he has something special to him, the Guard and the Revive. He's basic, but with those 2 special abilities, not as basic. And because of that, he becomes really good. I guess I can't really call him basic in that situation. Yeah, probably not, honestly. So Max is way too valued when making units. I mean, not necessarily. Like, it's a gimmick fight, sure. But the thing is that I could still... you say that you don't see the 8th anniversary content hit as hard. I do. Because they say that, like, it won't reach the max level for a while. But by the 8th anniversary, it's going to be 6 months from when the Sun Maximin came out. So I don't see, like, I feel like that's a good enough time if they really wanted to make the units Cell Max, like, boss level, and the event Cell Max boss level as well. And even though we have the special effects now, the damage unit takes, in that event is not really changed. It's only the damage units are able to deal. So I think it's still a good benchmark because it is technically the hardest hitting, like, outside of burst mode, I guess now, where those bosses get hit stupid hard. He's technically the hardest hitting, like, actual boss, event like that in the game. So I think it's still worth to see, because if unit is good there, likely they'll be good in red zone stages still, right? I wouldn't say, like, if a unit can't tank his super attack, I'm not gonna say they suck, right? I just think that it's good. Like, if they are able to tank the super attack, well, they're probably gonna be good in a red zone stage, right? Scouter is better than dodge. I would agree, actually. Scouter is that good. It depends. If it's a scouter that's like off rotation, especially. What are they thinking? It should have been better. I would agree. Again, when we get an AGO and an STR boss, I think they could look a lot better. But yeah, this would be the most hype release because it's a Gogeta Blue. Probably so, because he's like the newest thing, right? Changing it to 10 likes. Yeah, I said this is why I did 10 likes on mine a long time ago. Best design unit in the game. I can definitely see that. She's just stupid good. Could be top 10 TURs, depending on how good Orange Piccolo is. Honestly, you could probably argue him as a top 10 TUR now. I would agree with that because of how good Movie Heroes is. And Orange Piccolo will only make him better. Had the potential to be top 3 units, then Dokkan forgot about hybrids. Yeah, they expand hybrids in 2021, and then they're like, nah, this year. Which is like, okay, I mean, I feel like, Beast Gohan might bring up back the resurrection of hybrids. We'll see. No, he was good when he came out. Just that, again, power creep caught up to him, and his stats starting off were too low. I think it's actually pretty solid for Somax if you get him built up properly. When they released, with RU7 being the best team in the game, they're top 3 units overall, probably better than Blue Evolution. No, because I feel like at that time, especially because we had Extreme Super Battle Road going on, sure, the God event was harder. I just think that, they... how do I explain it? Them being stuck to that team when they weren't really needed there sucks. When a lot of these other teams that they could have been on, like if it was just a 17 unit or something, could have had that help. And they had really good stats. They could look really nice. But I feel like, with Extreme Super Battle, especially how that ended up being important, being good on more teams than being stuck to one team. Like, I feel like now being stuck to one team is not that big of a deal because we're not really, like, that restrictive to category missions. Well, recently we have been getting some, but yeah, that's what I'd say. Age amazingly to red zone. Yeah, I think that I would say that's true. Tech Vapu could be interesting once we get a new, what's it called, like not transformation boost lead, because we have the easy air cooler, but he could be interesting for sure. Weakest anniversaries by forward the 4th. The 6th because the main units were lackluster. That seems like more of an opinion. Too many bait tweets. Yep. Focus on the fusions running out the holes. I would agree. More fusions, please. Fusions right now are dead. I talked about that. People tell me what they want, not enforce their opinion on what's worth. Under previous posts. Yeah, I would say if you're asking about it, sure, but don't butt in and be like, whoa, do something for this unit, he sucks. Unless it's like Raditz or something, right? But at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a game. You should have fun. SPR shouldn't be used as a metric. If a unit is directly tied to it, then cool. But yeah, I would say red zone should be used as a metric instead. Dokkan's done a good job at designing villain units, but failed to provide proper supports. Marin Zamasu Cell, yeah. Oh, Great Vegeta I wouldn't say has a good design, but they just don't drop the proper supports from them, unfortunately. Goku isn't that bad, I would agree. Top 2 in a game if he was solo, I would agree. Yeah, this event was cool. I like this event. Omega is piss easy. Okay. I would say Omega is easier than people give him credit for. This guy has a solid design, top tier, clear purpose. I love this guy, yeah, for sure. 10% HP threshold completely kills him. Yeah, you feel that 10% threshold, and yeah, I would say that. He's nothing special, but he's decent. People don't mention him. I think he's fine. Maybe. These guys were really good. I don't know, though. What were they thinking? Yeah, this is a shaft. With heroes coming, I'll make a few heroes related takes. Why does he have a high chance? Why does he get so much multiplicative attack? I agree. If it was all defense, that'd be much better. Because look at all this attack this guy gets. Just unfortunate. Make his damage reduction also work with Goku family, and he could be the #1 Easy A. That's a good take. I completely agree with that. Definitely. Why was she so overrated? Can't wait for easier to see that again. Yeah, okay. I would say she wasn't overrated. I think she was really good when she came out. Borderline top 10 units. I'd probably say no, just because he didn't really also have setup that he wanted. He could look really good, but he never got, you know, that help, unfortunately. Goku related. Oh, 5'9", yeah. Insanely underrated. Actually a good third slot unit on the Gamma team. But you'll never probably run them because there's probably too many good options, I guess you could say. But they're a good option. I would agree. I think this unit is underrated. 70% chance to dodge. Could be really, really good. And Goku can get you that heal. He can guard, possibly. Interesting. Yes, please revive this team. That'd be helpful. His Easy A will be what Easy Cooler is right now. I would agree. He could be really good. This could be a good category if you get actual 200% lead. And this LR that supports it. I would love that. This could be a top 3 rotation in the game. Maybe. I could see that for sure. One of the most unfortunately forgettable releases. They deserve so much better. Yeah, they definitely did need more. Goku Black Emergency Master is more suited for an anniversary than Piccolo, Sword of Hope, or anyone that is Infusion or Beast Gohan right now. I think Sword of Hope for sure. And Piccolo, I think, could be an anniversary headliner too, right? It depends on how they handle. Like Piccolo versus 23rd Budokai Goku, I think could be really good. I'm not sure what else at the top of my head, but those two would be a really good release. Demon Time. The Baba Shop units could have been really good secondary options and were just a huge miss. Yeah, they didn't make them as good as I hoped. Free-to-play units need to take a jump and become usable like they were pre-2022. Yeah, I would say so. They didn't increase the... Well, they increased some of the like power that these free-to-play units have, but I feel like you could tell that they want free-to-play units to take more of a backseat. Same with Easy A's. Goku and Piccolo from OGDB will make a really good Tanabata. That'd be cool. Ending the thread here, okay. Yep. I ran out noble tanks long ago. And you sexy. Yeah, I agree. So that is Annie's thread right there. Very long thread. A lot of good things. Some things I would disagree with personally, but overall, nice thread overall. So I said that twice, but yeah, let me know what you guys think of Annie's thread here. I think there's some controversial stuff maybe, but thank y'all for watching. Pochita. I'll catch you next time.